Hey, Dean.
Hey, Billy. How's it going, brother?
Good. Did the time change?
The time.
Yeah, because let me see what time it is.
Wait, I didn't check UTC. Yeah, it's 1.
No, UTC is right. UTC is right.
And yeah, it is an early time for the US people. One of the things, Al Nanko, um, is I've yet to find a DAO that is well spread out across the globe. I find that we tend to be very good for Europe. Okay. I also see, hey, Rust, I see you in the audience. I just wanted to, if you can tell me where in the Fun Guys server I need to go. Um, I'm there, and I remember there was a certain channel, or you can ping me there. Um, so just heads up on that. Even though it's not super DAO related, we're trying out like new things for feedback. So the idea is maybe the NFT Council can help on Dean's List to do NFT project feedback. Um, so yeah, that's what's going on with Fun Guys. If anybody's interested in building out this product or you know uh, sharing ideas on other NFT projects, it's a good place to do it. And the Inner Grove, thank you. And then for what Patrick said, I guess we should talk about reputation when Patrick gets here. I think that makes sense. I see Scientist Joe's here too. Hello, sir. Hello, Archimedes.
Hello. Sorry, I hope that wasn't too loud. Just felt like joining on the stage with you, so that you're not you two by your lonesomes.
You did the right thing. Everybody who's a DAO member should step up. I also see that we've got like Nanko. Since you're in the audience, I assume you want to be a DAO member, right, Nanko? Like he would be the first person in this new process. Yes, excellent. Well, you've come here so many times. So yeah, this Inner Grove is a channel in Fun Guys that we're discussing some hardcore stuff. But I don't think I have the Inner Grove yet. Let me see. Do I have to click on anything? I have a verified guy. Anyway, we don't need to do that now. But anybody interested in this concept of NFT feedback? Okay, so they'll add me manually. Okie dokie. So yeah, I think the big thing to discuss today is reputation. Um, we have a few active proposals. Which are them? Which are the active proposals we've got? Like we're done with the radium stuff, right? That's done. Um, what else do we have that's active on voting?
I think the Bears conversation.
Yeah, the Bears. I think we've has that passed. I think that's like oh we haven't. Yeah, we voted for it. Oh, but we haven't. It closes in 8 hours.
Yeah, and I'm bringing it up just to make sure that whoever needs to put in whatever final votes, it ends at 1700 hours UTC today. So whoever hasn't voted yet, feel free And if anybody has any questions, today is the day to ask them.
Yes, good points, especially since it ends in 5 hours. I'm excited for this. I'm excited for it. Okay, so that was one of the open ones. We said we're done with the radium. Oh, we can talk about this that we sent David Lerner. That happened pretty fast, and I agree with Billy. We didn't touch on it, but we had to fast track it because of the time restrictions, and that came from our agility fund, I think.
Yep.
I like the process.
I mean, if Avid wants to come on stage and share some updates.
Just a recap on the process so that anybody that may have missed it last week, this became a topic of conversation that was discussed among several members in the DAO group together. If you missed out on last call, it's not like this just happened randomly. Avid Learner came, spoke, provided his update, justifications, some of the really positive things that he'll come up and talk about himself if he can. And figured out a way to move forward, make sure that everybody was aware. It's documented communications so that we show that this was discussed and there were conversations, at least in the DAO chat. And then it moved to a multi-sig process where multiple individuals had to sign off on it, check to make sure that it's the right wallet address, the right amounts to accomplish what Avid needed. And recap, this ties back to the breakpoint tickets that were being requested on whether or not the DAO had people that we wanted to authorize and give tickets to and back up to be able to send to breakpoint. Avid tried to go the route of doing it himself, and when he found that wasn't possible, that's when he came to the DAO. So it's not like he started that conversation with us without looking for the alternatives, expecting other things to happen. Avid's on the street, so he might not be able to speak, but I just wanted to provide that context and transparency in case anybody has any questions as to how did this come to a discussion and decisioning. Several active members were on the call discussing it, bringing it up, and it was at the very end of, I can't remember if it was Sunday or Tuesday at this point because I'm mixing up my days and calls.
Yeah, I just love the fact that we were able to operationalize pretty fast. That this is the reason why we have the agility fund. There's a reason why these people are running the agility fund. At some point we probably need to articulate other things as we've been going through, re-articulating what is membership, how does someone join DAO member. Even though these things are basic, it'll be really cool to re-articulate them. But it accomplished what we wanted to do. We wanted to be able to be rapid and fast. So for everybody's edification, again, we're discussing how one of our great Grape members raised his hand and said, "Hey guys, I also want to go to Breakpoint. I just got this from Solana." And we moved very fast and allocated $1,500 to help cover expenses to go to Breakpoint. And again, I'm proud of the fact that this is what we do as a DAO. Like we're sending people around the world to expand and learn more and represent Grape. And to my knowledge, we're the only ones doing that so far. In such a transparent phase, right? Like in all DAOs, there are people representing them, but not so often is it that any holder can participate in that. So that's something to be very proud of, guys.
And to add to that, I think it's important to note that there was already this notion of the proposal to send people to Breakpoint, and this particular individual was delayed because they tried to go a different route, didn't work out. There was already consensus that the DAO wants to support this, so we didn't have to wait to really discuss whether or not it was a matter of including or excluding somebody. An Avid Learner of all people would I'm not sure if anybody would be opposed to it, and I'd love to see that communication come through now after after we execute it and find out, oh, you know what, I don't agree with this, or I do have a problem with it, because that's a really good touch point for us to be able to look back and say, what could we have done better in this process to accommodate all the considerations that come with what does that look like for the person that's asking for help, right? The person that's asking for help, or at least for support from the DAO, has to go through a number of steps. And the whole reason behind the urgency of this particular request was because they need to sort out travel situations, visas, you name it. And a lot of that is dependent upon having all their things scheduled, paid for tickets, etc. So just to recapping, in case there's any misunderstandings about process or anything where somebody is unclear about whether or not there was one, there were a lot of things that we had already covered those bases before we got to that conclusion and acted fast based on the fact that there were a lot of boxes ticked already.
Hello everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. I hope you didn't run home and you're like sweaty and out of breath now.
Yeah, no problem. Um, yeah, how's everyone doing? GMJ. Um, yeah, I received the 1.5K few days ago. I must say, like, I'm very impressed, and like the DAO process was even more like faster than Solana's, because after receiving the email of acceptance and filling the form for KYC, I haven't received a response, and I haven't received the compensation package from them yet. I think no one has from among those who were selected. And it's with this 1.5K I've used to reserve my accommodation, and like I think in 2 hours I'll be flying to like the capital of my country to so like I'll be there, but I will be early. I'll be out early tomorrow to go pursue for my visa. Like I received an invitation letter from Solana, so hopefully tomorrow morning I will be at the Portuguese embassy. Also, like I said, closer to the events, the cost of things gets more expensive. I think my estimated costs for flights before is no longer like feasible now, and like due to the delay from Solana, if I had received everything, I think I should have booked my everything things, and I'm a bit scared, but hopefully like for I have funds to cover um my flights when um they finally send what they said they will send.
I hear you. I hear you. Well, I'm glad that we were able to move quickly to get what was estimated before, and looking at the numbers during weekdays, prices on flights and stuff change, and so do hotels. Um, so that might be a good point to check in on, Tuesday or Monday tomorrow, to see if the price fluctuations change at all. Not really sure, because I know you're in a geographic location that's a little bit more complicated than anybody can probably fathom. And for those that haven't lived in, countries with very bureaucratic processes of trying to get visas and such, it's a daunting task to try and do it within a month.
Yeah, I should
Um,
add. I also I made a down payment for flight initially, but the flights required passing through the UK, and they said I will need a UK visa to take that flight. So an UK visa from what I learned takes 6 weeks minimum. So I had to cancel the flight, and I'll like hoping to get a direct flight option. Currently, every booking, every option I see doesn't have a direct route to Lisbon without passing through a country that requires visa. And
Spain also
visa,
requires one.
you said?
Spain.
Yeah, I think Spain, Italy, France, most of these countries. I think
Let
it's
us
only
know, man.
it's only the like Gulf countries like Qatar and other places, because like the flight I initially booked was meant to pass through Qatar, then Heathrow airports in the
Yeah.
UK, then
Well,
Lisbon.
Well, Kirk raises a good point, and this is important because the UK is no longer part of the EU. So it might very well be that if you go through Spain, your visa for Europe will count for Portugal as well, which you might want to check into because Spain is an EU country, right? So that might be an easier route.
Okay, I'll check. Like most of these routes I've come across is mostly France, Italy, and the UK.
Yeah, you check the chat that the team, the team, the group, the DAO here. Everybody's chipping in some information about it and trying to help make sure you can bypass any additional bureaucracies you're going to have to face to try and accomplish this. So hopefully this is all accurate and there's no issue, and each country doesn't need you to put forward a proposal and vote.
Yeah, like I think I won't be making a second proposal. Actually, like Grape has done a lot for this, and like I really appreciate, and
Oh yeah,
like
no. I'm
yeah,
talking about countries. I'm talking about countries.
uh,
If each
yeah.
country was a DAO and you'd have to submit a proposal to each country for each proposal, what if that was the world order? But let us know if that helps. If trying to look for an EU country. I know
Yeah.
Schengen's the old model, but the current model should allow EU free passage through any EU country as long as you come into an EU country.
I'll look into it. I think even from my visa invitation, the visa like that's been requested by Solana Foundation is something related to Schengen visa, something like that.
Yeah, well, good luck and let us know how it goes, man.
Thank you.
Hey guys.
Hello, sir.
So Schengen is the old model. What's the new one? What did I miss?
No, I'm just saying if the EU has specific policies, because Schengen, I believe, is the legacy model that EU is founded upon the principles of, but I don't know if there's any changes or that EU law overrides Schengen or whatever the case may be. I haven't had to deal with it, so I don't know. That's why I was just pointing out.
Okay, as far as I know, Schengen is still valid.
Yeah, like I have a question. Like since you mentioned Schengen, like from the invitation letter Solana gave me, the visa being requested from the consul of the embassy is a Schengen visa. So does this mean if I have a Schengen visa, I can I can transit through any EU country?
Yeah, there's let me link you the picture directly.
Yeah, and you're flying. You said you're flying into the capital to address this. It would be a really good question when you're there to ask this as well.
Yes.
Yeah, it looks like I'm good if I get the visa then. Yeah.
Standard DYOR, right?
Yeah.
So,
I-
very different type of do your own research type of experience, but hopefully this is all helpful and doesn't take issue. And I think that's why the UK kind of left the EU because they wanted to be able to have their own controls over whatever
Let's not get too
rules.
far into
Yeah,
politics.
I'm not going there.
I posted a map from SchengenVisaInfo.com into Grape Chat, and where they are showing in this pink color and in this bluish color the countries that accept the Schengen visa. So should not have a problem with a Schengen visa. Jörg is bashing the UK now. Okay, guys. I have a little update on the emissions for DAO Core, and here it is. I made this sheet. Should be viewable but not editable for everyone with this link. You can leave a comment if you spot any mistakes or something like that.
Nice.
And so I gathered in a channel and at DAO. Just open the channel up. Yeah. So what I did is I looked at our last DAO core emissions way back in May, I think it was. And then I asked all the people who were mentioned what work they did. And from that, I just used the last emissions numbers, so how much grape for any task. And then I continued to do this. And overall, we are looking at, for these 3 months, for June, July, and August, we are looking at a grape expense of roughly 250,000. To be precise, 252,000 grape. For 8 people. Yeah, I will beautify that a bit, and then I will post something on Discord. If anybody spots any mistakes or something like that, please ping me on Discord, and you can also leave a comment on the Google Sheet. Going forward, so far Taki has been so kind to work out the stream flows for these kind of emissions, and if he would be down for that, I would like to trust him again with that. And going forward, it was proposed to add a DAO core role, so for the person paying out the DAO core emissions, and I think that's a very reasonable thing to do because it's quite an amount of work, much elbow grease involved. So that's something we can talk about once this is through. Just a heads up and not to Taki. I haven't forgotten.
Yeah, thanks for putting that together, Ryder, because I know it's been a lingering thing, and getting this closed out and making sure everybody's aware is very helpful. So thank you for spearheading that. As far as DAO core role to support processes. I think whatever takes time to help support making sure things happen is always useful and valuable for us to make sure we include. The other thing that I think is important for us to evaluate is getting to a place where if and when Realms could ever have this type of setup where it could post it into StreamFlow so that it's not just dependent on, it'll still be dependent on somebody knowing how to do it and doing it correctly and creating proposals for it. If it were to ever get there, and integrating, based on the DAO vote, it automatically emits the StreamFlow, creates the flow, the streams from the get-go. That'd be a nice future state, but until then, somebody having to do it is still part of the equation. Hey, Crypto, how you doing?
Hi. I wanted to ask that last time, but now you're mentioning it again. Do we still need StreamFlow? If we make payouts for something that you did in the DAO, why not getting it all in one?
Actually, I didn't question it so far.
So basically, we could set this up within Realms, like it's 9 people who get something. You can make 9 transactions and be done with it. Why send it to someone else who then sets up a StreamFlow for which we are paying fees? It's why?
It's a great question. I mean, the only thing that I would say is a good argument for that would be user control on when they want to receive it. And if StreamFlow had a release button, so that it's not something that's like the user receives without notice, and they can choose to receive it, is another concept of whether or not, when emissions happen, do they just go straight to the wallet and forget it, and that's the easiest approach. The other side of it is, I've always wondered.
Sorry, Dimitri, the way streams are set up, they do go to the wallet at the end, no matter what.
Right.
There's no way not to get the stream.
Right, and I'm speaking to a future representation of StreamFlow that I recall discussing it with them and saying, are you going to create a model in which somebody can go and claim the same way you get rewards from staking on Realms, right? The emissions get locked in, and you have to go and claim the rewards, which is up to every user to make sure that they go and execute. That would be
like
the only
an allocation, more or less, what you're talking about. Yeah.
Yes,
okay.
and it gives the person, each individual, the opportunity to choose when they want to receive what is rightfully theirs without it being allocated to them directly until they decide. And that there are other connotations of why I think that matters, given certain other pieces of the puzzle, but it's an idea. It's like locking it up and letting the person choose when they want it. I'm not saying that that's available today. I'm saying that would be a nice to have in the future. Again, your approach process-wise makes sense, because they'll end up getting it anyway. I don't know if there's any argument to explain why StreamFlow would be a more valuable approach if we're not streaming it incrementally over time, which could have an argument for. But receiving it lump sum, if that's the way that we're going to go about it, then I can't find a flaw in your argument.
No, it's like obviously there are different things we could think about. Like, for example, if we continue to use StreamFlow, then we can make a better argument for them integrating something, because we obviously using it and we want to, as a user, have different options. But like looking at this process itself, for me, it doesn't make sense to introduce an additional layer. So that's why I'm asking.
A good question. I don't think I have an answer for it, but I can't find a good counter for it. The only thing I can think of is that we've integrated Streamflow into the dashboard.
What I can think about is that the way you propose doing it directly via Realms is we would need 9 different proposals and votes by everybody.
No, you can make different. You can do more several transactions in one proposal. That's what I'm trying to say here. So yeah, you make one proposal, make 9.
Then it's fine.
Yeah.
I think we could.
I think 20. Isn't 25 the limit on the instructions?
I think it's 19.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
So that would
should work.
So that would be the only reason you might not be able to send to multiple individual accounts beyond 19. Unless there's another feature that I'm not aware of in Realms. So that would be the other functionality counter, right? Streamflow can support if you want to send to 100 users, then yeah. But if you want to send to anything less than 19, could it go directly to Realms? I guess it could.
Oh, we started with Streamflow initiative also because there was kind of the fear that people might dump the grape they get, but
yeah, and for membership rewards, it still makes sense for me if we think in terms of like volume and like number of people who receive it. So that makes sense. But for something like emissions that go 2 or even 3 months back, it's like, why stretch it out further? So it doesn't make a difference.
I also see Daiki had posted a comment that makes sense as well for us to take into consideration. Is the only thing that with Streamflow is sender and receiver can change the destination of the stream funds. So if you don't want to receive it to the wallet, that
and I thought about that when Billy said it, but basically you get what you the wallet that the stream goes to, like, can decide to pay it out to a different wallet, but then again you can send it there. It's no.
Yep. It just sounds like there's additional coordination for removing it as a step is all I'm saying. And I'm only clarifying so that we're clear on what the differences are and why one versus the other.
So, and if I understand you correctly, Taki, you can like batch 12 to 14 transactions, and you need to make several batches. I never used it as a sender, so I don't know. But it sounds like cumbersome if you're doing it for like 100 people, but okay. But okay, then like we can gather like some feedback if people do have feedback, and then make an on-chain proposal with the according instructions, right?
Yeah, I think we should wait for some feedback up till Tuesday. And if there's no feedback, to change the process, we could proceed with an on-chain proposal.
Yeah, I like it. Let's wait till Tuesday, give the people an opportunity, and then we can also have an open mic on the call. Maybe somebody wants to talk about it on stage. Maybe also somebody wants to join DAO Core and do work for the DAO.
I think this would be a really good proposal idea of talking about how to alter it and also taking into consideration all these differences and getting it into a discourse comment or discussion that everybody can participate in offering their opinion about it and give everybody time to understand what it entails and maybe some things that I or anybody else hasn't thought about yet.
Should we go on to the next topic, or are we waiting for some
No,
feedback?
great question. I don't think there's anything else to cover here until maybe we bring this up again on Tuesday to discuss the realms and streams and use the opportunity to look at Ryder and Red's example as a chance to revamp a little bit or just continue doing what we're doing. I think we can move on, in my opinion.
I think for next steps, yeah, there should be a discourse thread, and once that Google spreadsheet is a bit more finalized or presentable, it could be included in that thread, and that then we could proceed to an on-chain proposal with the specific next steps, whatever that is, whether it's stream flow or directly depositing to the wallets.
Yep, I agree. Sound good, Ryder? You good with that?
Yeah, discuss it on Tuesday, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Cool.
Nice.
So with the validator testing, we are good. We tested creating a staking account, deactivating the stake, and withdrawing, and we confirmed that the amount that is withdrawn back to the governance is controllable by the DAO, and the amount that is rewarded, it matches the expected reward rate. So
Yes, saw that. Awesome. Thanks for testing.
we're ready to proceed. And again, if there's anything we want to clarify, if we need more time and you don't feel comfortable proceeding with the proposal today, we could wait until Tuesday if there's any concerns.
Yeah, I mean, since it's not that easy to add to a validator, I don't know when we should start or start like with some of the funds. In the meantime, I keep swapping. So we have on Mango again 231 or 32 basically Sol that could be used. So
I think in this case it makes sense to speed up the process and authorize the council to withdraw that SOL so we could do a bigger initial stake.
yeah, the bigger the better. I see it the same way. So it's like,
because if we do it through an on-chain proposal, it's going to take 5 days
yeah,
to
we
wait
shouldn't do
for
that.
the Mango to come back, and then we have to wait to stake, and that's going to go on the next epoch. It's going to be at least a week. But whatever everybody decides is the right approach, we're going to proceed with that.
I don't have an issue with council members like moving funds around within the treasury. It's like for organizational purposes. That shouldn't be something we need to do with on-chain votes from the whole community. Whether to stake or not, or to delegate to a validator, that of course would be an on-chain proposal, but the more funds we have available that we initially wanted to use anyway, the better. So yeah.
Okay. I agree, and I think that since the proposal has passed in principle, and we're not doing something against that, that would be fine. But I just want to confirm that that's what everybody else thinks.
And please, like people who are listening, please speak up, because it's like, it feels a bit like Billy and me are doing that with the validator thingy, but it's like for the whole community and for the whole DAO. So if anyone has other ideas or wants to do something differently, please say so. Same goes for like the buying or the swapping itself. Like, if I should just continue, I will do that. But if there is some input,
I
don't hesitate.
believe that the proposal that has passed to buy Solana under $40, it has you covered to proceed at your own pace.
Yeah, I'm basically doing that. That's exactly what I'm doing. But we had also initially set a date, so like it would have been until August, and my thinking was like, it's a time frame that people can make a decision and know that if we pass like this date, then there needs to be a new decision, or there can be a new decision. But we never did that, so but I still feel that there is like a consensus, and that's why I continue doing it.
You're doing a great job. Just continue doing what you're doing.
Thank you. I try to make us as much Solana as possible. So
can you also share the Mango account, the current status, so everybody can see how much Solana we have?
Come again? I missed the first part.
Can you share the link to the Mango
Sure.
trades, and also the amount that we've also already acquired? So just so everybody that's listening knows exactly where we are.
No, sure. So basically, everyone can like look at the wallet whenever they want. It's the Mango Market link I just posted, and we withdrew the 1.6K Sol, and now we have for open orders, you can see it under orders and see even the history of all trades I did. And basically, we have got like 40K left, basically 44K.
Very good.
And
So
average price is around 33.
So we would get another 1,350. Yeah, that's pretty much the goal that we had. 3,000 Solana is very close.
Yeah, but the goal was for 120k USDC, and we only used 100. So I'm proud of that so far.
That's very good.
Yeah. Great job.
Obviously, it depends on the market, right? So unfortunately, I can't influence that. If I could, I would let you know. After
you
placing
do,
some orders.
if if you can do that, just let me know.
Yeah, but my initial goal was like at least 2.6k. I hoped for 2.8, but if we reach 3, it's like 3k. So it would be awesome. And we're on a good way. So
Okay, so I think we're good with next steps here too. We're 100% confident that the instructions are correct, the governance is set up properly, and we could proceed. And that we should fast track the withdrawal. There's no point in waiting an extra
Yep.
5 days every time you complete an order on Mango.
Yeah, basically what I think you need to let me know, or it would be better so that I can close any open orders before executing. But
Even if we do the proposal and it fails, and you could still close the orders after, and we could execute, and you could re-add, you could
yeah,
re.
sure.
So it's not a
Yeah.
problem. So yes, but by Tuesday, I think we should have the proposal to activate the stake in it with Genesis Go.
Yep.
Great job on that, guys. I know there's a lot more behind the scenes that had to happen to make this stuff possible. So awesome.
Are we ready to go to the next proposal?
I think so.
All right. I'm looking over the agenda, Dean Share. Let me find it. So we covered the validator. Now the next discussion is reputation. So let me see who's here. Scientist Joe is also here. Dean is here. Patrick is here. Yeah, I think we can go to that discussion. Does anybody want to lead that discussion?
You guys.
Hey, Patrick.
Hey.
How you doing?
I'm good. I'm good. How are you?
Good.
Just cooking. Yeah, like I'd be happy to lead the discussion. Just to maybe give a timeline and some expectations.
Beautiful.
Cool. So right now we're adding some features to Lighthouse so that it can be a little bit more usable. We'll basically be able to implement the attestation capture for almost everything that is described in Scientist Joe's model. Some of it will be off-chain, clearly, because there's a lot of off-chain stuff. And so on Tuesday, Sharon will be on the call to walk you through the product and show you how it works and how you can set it up. And basically, this first sort of test version will be kind of a free-for-all. You can play with it. You can set up the multi-sig to approve attestations and see how that works. So that would require, for example, selecting, I don't know, some members of the DAO to be able to approve attestations. We're working on this idea that Billy, I think you had in the last call, which was to let attestations be automatically validated unless someone vetoes it or says something to stop it. So that's like by Tuesday we'll be able to do that. There's all of this logic that exists in Scientist Joe's model that's it can get quite complex. Like the definitions are really precise. What I would suggest is like, and Scientist Joe, maybe you want to talk, you want to speak to this as well and give your opinion about it. The basic construct is that you have a percentage per sort of type, contribution type. And then there's a score for each activity in that contribution type and how many, and all of that contributes to points that maximize out the percentage weight of that contribution type. So the logic there, like the math is fine. But maybe it would be interesting to just experiment with sort of a more basic version before getting into like really specific definitions of how much each of these are worth or how we calculate them. I don't know if you have thoughts on that, Scientist Joe. Okay. Thanks for the comment, Scientist Joe and Archimedes. Okay. So what we'll do is we'll start with like a really basic version. So that there's like different steps to this, right? So there's everything that we're going to be putting on chain, including governance, emissions, and all of that stuff. And that's fairly easy to set up and automate. Everything else is not. So that will be forms that will be set up that capture these contributions based on different fields. And we'll start with that. And then in terms of a score, what we can do is like export the data to a Google spreadsheet. So like you get all of the raw data and the points, the range of points that Scientist Joe described for each of these. And you can see what the result of just using the system for a couple of weeks looks like. So you can see how much you might want to change the score or weight something or see like how many people actually participated in an activity and make progress going towards the full Scientist Joe model. All of the calculation stuff that would happen to calculate the score using Scientist Joe model would happen off chain at least to start. So because it can get quite complex, we kind of want to push that out to as far as possible, just to make sure it accurately reflects what people think. And then this will all manifest in a token, right? So these would be the way that they seem to be described in the model is that there would be non-transferable tokens. So you would get points, and then those points would give you some boost on your governance. So we can facilitate all that. We can start with a very basic version and maybe apply it to a specific set of proposals, so that it's not like reputation doesn't impact things in such a heavy way to start. I don't know how we want to set that up, but all of those things can kind of be tested.
Really great work, Patrick. I mean, I couldn't believe you're going to be able to actually get that formula up and working, because it's pretty complex with all the off-chain data.
Yeah. I mean, I'd like to push that out as far as possible. So if we can start with just something really basic, which is, for example, if one contribution is scored between 0 and 20, that we just do that scoring mechanism first and see what that looks like. And then we can evolve that to say, okay, well, this set of contributions is part of contributions or activity or whatever it is. And then we'll improve this, we'll derive the score that's closer to Scientist Joe's, just to see like how all of this kind of works out as we move step by step towards like a more complex model. So I would see this like kind of being tested over 2 or 3 months. Yeah, so Archimedes is saying on-chain is complex enough to start. It is, but the scoring is simple. It's just the sum of whatever points have been attributed to you. So all of that would be directly, on-chain. There's no advanced logic for that. So I would like look at this as maybe like a 2 to 3 month thing where we're just testing and learning and progressing until we get to something that looks like the model that was proposed. And maybe you can also have some opportunity to debate how much something is worth, whether it's necessary, kind of along the way, just to make sure it fits with what everyone's expectations are. If everyone is okay with that, then what we can begin to do, so starting probably, I guess, late next week or early the week after, we'll just export the raw data from the reputation system before using it for governance. And then maybe a couple weeks later, distribute the token based on the points in the system. And then maybe a couple weeks after that, we'll build the logic in off chain, like some simple logic. And then we'll validate that. And then maybe by like beginning of December, it actually starts to look like something that's like the full-fledged model.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. We need to, take it one step at a time, because this has a huge impact.
Cool. Yeah, it's best to iterate. I mean, it's like a product, right? It's essentially a product. So let's give ourselves the time to make it do exactly what we want it to do.
Thank you, Patrick, for leading the conversation. I don't know if anybody else wants to share any more thoughts on next steps or feedback.
One thing, I don't know how we would go about this, but we need to pick a few people to play the role of like attestation validators, just at least for the next couple of weeks. It would be cool. Like, it doesn't necessarily have to be anyone who is like, a Grape rock star or anything. Just like a few different people that can test the system out.
I'll volunteer for sure. Because I've been testing out a couple of things like delegation and stuff, and curious how that might fit in with anything else and stuff like that. So you can count me in.
Yep, sign me up. I'm interested in getting to know the process itself.
Okay, dope. Nice.
I'm doing a very rudimentary recruitment process with an emoji. In case anybody wants, just click on the check on that attestation testers, and that could be the list.
That's a good idea.
Yeah, I've learned my lessons using Google Forms. I'm not going to default to old models.
All right, cool. So everything works obviously with a wallet. So what I'll do is I'll send out the link. Anyone should be able to connect to it. But if you're on this list, I'll add you as a friend and I'll ping you for your address so I can add you as onto the multisig. So we got next steps.
Or we could,
Yeah.
if it's all right with everybody here, we could create a thread or a chat in the DAO and have that communication there, so everybody's visible on who's participating, and unless anybody wants privacy and doesn't want to share their wallet address, which I think is fine, but just to keep it all in the group chats, if that's possible. Just a thought.
I'm okay with that if everyone else is.
Yeah, and if anybody else wants to, they can DM you.
Okay, that sounds good. All right, so there's
just so
that.
you
I'll
don't have
set
to
that
do
up.
just so you don't have to go build and do the recruitment and trying to coordinate with everybody, because I've had my fun with that.
I appreciate it. Yeah, I think having everything in one channel is probably easier. That way, also like all the histories in one place. Okay, so I think I'll probably send the link out and like add everyone on Monday or Tuesday before the call, and then Sharon will be here Tuesday and he'll like walk you through the system. I mean, obviously you can play with it, but he'll do a walkthrough then.
Sounds good. Are we ready to go to the next proposal?
Hey guys, maybe now's a good time to discuss the workshop, Patrick. I don't know if
Yeah, sorry, I forgot to bring that up. Thanks for reminding me. Yeah, so at Breakpoint, we started organizing this workshop. It's for any DAO to come and physically work on the same sort of stuff that we've been working on over the past couple of months. It'll help them basically come up with like the basics for their reputation system, similar to what we've done here, but maybe, I mean, we definitely won't go as far as like, you know, proposals for models and things like that. But it'll give people that are at Breakpoint and that are DAO founders or in DAO core teams or people that are interested in starting DAOs a framework to be able to begin thinking about all of this stuff. And the idea is during the workshop, we have people from Grape, from Lighthouse, and from Civic, who would be the organizers of this thing, kind of walk around and meet people and help them think through these models, and through the concept of like what an attestation or a contribution is, so that we can learn from what other people are thinking about in the context of their own DAOs, but also maybe get inspiration for what we're building here. And at the same time, everyone kind of like learns how to go about this. That's the idea. So we've already gotten a space together. So far, Lighthouse is organizing this with Civic, and we'd like Grape to join us. And we've got a space. It's close to the water in Lisbon, not so far from the conference venues. They can fit up to like 100 people. We'll have like catering, so just like basic things like coffee and juices and beer at the end and some finger food. And that's it. I want it to be kind of a learning experience. At least that's the hope. And so, yeah, so what's the ask? We're all pitching some money in to make this a cool experience. So it pays for the rental, it pays for the catering, it'll pay for some maybe like collaborative swag or something, and all the workshop materials. And so in total, that'll be between like $5,000 and $6,000. There's a discourse proposal up. So if you'd like to, you know, participate in the discussion or comment on it, you can go there. Writer. Yeah, beer makes the price go up a little bit, but it definitely justifies an event. People have a better time, I think. Let me see. I'll find the link to the post on Discourse. I'll post it here. But if anyone would like to talk about it or comment, like please come on stage and we can talk about it. Some people are faster at internet than me. Thanks, CryptoPause.
To be fair, you were talking, so I looked it up for you.
Many thanks.
So as I wrote in the discourse discussion, it's for me basically, in principle, it should be a yes if we like come with something up that we can use to promote Grape. So basically, you pointed some topics out. Yeah, I'd like to know what the rest of the DAO thinks about us supporting, and in turn, what we could like use it for in order to promote Grape. So should it be more in terms of Grape supporting what you guys are doing there? So like a partnership for the reputation model within Grape, or should it be something else? Is it to yeah, like also maybe see whether there are potentially new members that bring value? I'm interested what you guys think.
I have a couple of thoughts on this, but I don't want to like hog the stage. Just very, very quickly, like reputation and identity. This is what Lighthouse does, and this is what Civic does. They don't work without like a real use case. And Grape's the first community, or one of the first communities, to basically adopt and want to implement something like this. And I think that, at least this is my point of view, having joined Grape, I don't know, in the last 6-8 months, is that this is a place that people can experiment in. And I don't know if a lot of people know that. I think people just see Grape still as like the verification product. And I think having an audience of say 40 DAOs can really change the way that a lot of people think about what Grape does and what the community does.
So I see 3 people typing. That's promising. So with 22 in the audience, I'd love to see like at least 10 people typing or coming on stage. But I take 2, 3.
Hey, hey. I think it comes down who from Gape is there at the event and can provide yeah, some kind of interaction to the other people at the event. That's what it all comes down to. If we are only providing, I don't know, merch, but nobody is there from Grape, then it's not a good opportunity. But if there's somebody there from Grape who can talk about the process we went through with Potrock and setting up the system, then also, yeah, kind of low key tell them that Grape is great and stuff. Have a discussion, meet the people. I think that would be valuable. If I recall the thread correctly, let's check.
Since we're, at least it feels like that, moving at the speed of snail, is there a deadline?
I don't know, like the week before would be nice to know.
Okay. Yeah.
So from the thread, both Taki and Wales brought that they will be in Lisbon at the date on the 6th.
I think there are a lot of people. I got a lot of people told me they would be interested in being at the event and being facilitators or helping the other devs. So Tata Martins, Disco Love, Avid Learner said he would be there. Hopefully.
Hopefully, yeah. Yeah, what we need is some key person from Grape who will go on stage with you and talk about all the things. That's what we need. Otherwise, it's not so attractive. Oh, Dean, you also be there. But would you like to talk with Mr. Potrock on the date?
That'd be cool. I like talking to you.
Yeah, of course. 100%.
Sweet.
Yeah, problem solved, right?
Yeah. So for me, basically, the conversation shifted from whether we should do it to what do we want to talk about. So
So the way that it's kind of set up right now is that there's a panel discussion with someone from Civic, someone from Grape, and someone from Lighthouse, probably, I guess, Sharon. And then maybe one or two other people. But just if it were the three of us, I think we would be able to talk about, we could spend a lot of time talking about the process, the methods, what you guys considered was more interesting, less interesting, why. I mean, basically everything we did. And why, which is perhaps the most important.
So as I said, for me, like the conversation shifted a bit. It's definitely then a yes, because I know with you guys there, I don't need to worry about whether there is anything to talk about, but I'd still love to see like feedback from the DAO, maybe on Tuesday or so, what our agenda should be or could look like, or what our focus should be on, for Grape, that is. So, but I support it. Your proposal, that is.
Sweet. Yeah, like why don't we could take a week basically, right? I think our community said we can set up the proposal next week. So why don't we take a week to discuss what people would like to address in the conference, in the workshop, and then we can come to a decision maybe on Tuesday next week or asynchronously.
Okay, yeah, would work for me. Maybe we can like drop some suggestions in Discord and like maybe also make a list, because people obviously prefer voting on something rather than writing something down. So
Yeah, definitely. If we have, maybe we can you suggested Discord. Could we do it on the discourse post and then I
sure,
can
why not?
make a
Why not?
summary?
As long as we like cross-reference it so that people keep updated and like really look at discourse, because this is one of our issues that we have like probably 20 votes or 20 people voting, sometimes only 15. So yeah, but sure, we can do that. It's even better to have it on discourse, to be honest, because it's like easier to follow.
Up to you. I don't know. It's whatever you would normally do, I guess, is okay.
Normally, I would like write something down in discourse and cross my fingers and hope for the best. So that's not saying that this is the best course of action. So
I don't know. We could try it and see how it goes. Okay, let's try it. Post your comments on discourse if you would like to contribute to the discussion.
awesome.